number one, how do you know if a film has a good story or not if you don't go see it?
Right. That's true too.
That's number one, because
I
we hear people say, as Heath mentioned in his video, we hear people they come out and they're like, "Well, this movie sucks," and it's like, "Well, did you see it?" No.
Joker 2. Can I just reference Joker 2? Because Skullman in the comments said, I want more stories about troubled, mentally ill white men that are on the fringes of society. Think American Psycho, Fight Club, Nightcrawler, Donnie Darko, now Blade Runner 2049, Drive, and the Batman. That's what Joker 2 is. And nobody saw it, but everybody piled onto it like it's a bunch of crap.
And that's the thing. Everybody, the narrative was Joker 2 was a terrible movie. But if you look, Joker 2 had a very poor opening weekend. So that means, like you said, nobody saw it.
Nobody saw it.
So
nobody saw that movie. And here's the thing, right? It's all awards buzz, right? That first film came out of nowhere. Nobody expected that one film to make $1 billion. They went in expecting one thing. Now, I'm not saying this. I am not saying that they should have. Here's the issue, though. With that film, it's all based on what everybody wanted, but the filmmaker didn't do what that studio said to do. He took everything on his back and didn't follow any directions. So
where's that coming from? Where are you getting that information?
That's coming from Deadline and all the major trades, and I think the first one was from Deadline, I believe.
I understand where you're coming from. I've read that too, but I think it's getting misinterpreted. They said he had full creative control. So everything in that movie did come from Todd Phillips, but I don't know necessarily that anyone was telling him otherwise. I don't know that anyone was saying we don't want this, and he was pushing back and saying,
yeah, it's also a film is such a collaborative thing. Like, who's to say what idea came from where? Who was pushing what? Who was doing this? Who was doing that? In the contract, like, I have no doubt he probably did for sure have more control in Joker. Like, they wanted him to do Joker 2. They're going to pay him money. The contracts are probably going to be a little, more like, oh, you could do this a little more. You could have this type of edit, but they're still going to have, like, say, one way or another. They're the money men. Right?
There's no scenario where a movie is made if the studio is not on it, like white on rice, right? They're all over. They're looking at the dailies. They're reading the outline of the screenplay before the screenplay even exists. They're signing off on the pages. They're in the boardroom going like, let's check those dailies out. How does that look? Okay, probably like, hey, let's throw in Harvey Dent. Spoilers for Joker 2.
Yeah. And these things, people think like it's a studio guy going to Todd Phillips. Change that. No, what ends up happening is they're discussing, yo, Todd, this scene, we feel this is that, and Todd's like, yeah, oh, maybe we could do that. Like, there's such a dance between ideas that to say like they came from this, it came from a studio head, did this and that. It's like, no, there's so many filters already there that it's very difficult to like even blame anything on one guy,
Take Solo, a Star Wars story, for example. That's a perfect example, because there you had directors who we were told were going rogue and doing their own thing against the wishes of the studio. Well, what happened? They got fired. It wasn't like the studio just put that movie out then and said, well, they did their own thing. We told them no, they were fired for it.
The studio is never the victim. They are always in control at the end of the day. Always.
Yeah.
And you brought up Star Wars. Let's talk about Rogue One. They hired Gareth Edwards, right?
Yep.
To make this gritty World War II style movie. He makes that movie, and they go, "This is too hardcore." So they bring in Henry Gilroy to basically remake half of the movie, uncredited. I mean, he is credited, but they reshot like half of that movie. But Gareth Edwards played ball, so he gets to keep the director credit on it. This is how movies are made. The studio is always in control.
Absolutely.
I was gonna say with the Joker 2, I love the first Joker. I was so sold on Lady Gaga coming in as Harley Quinn, but I'm guessing some of it too is maybe when the first Joker was released. I still like. Don't judge me for this. I still like Jared Leto's Joker in the Suicide Squad. I didn't hate it. I didn't think it was the most amazing thing ever. But there's like two things there. You're coming right off that the next time you see the Joker, and then also, it's the first trailer one. People didn't know what to expect exactly. You know, Joaquin Phoenix is going to give interest, and part of the whole buzz from the first movie is not really knowing what to expect. And I don't know if you got that from the sequel. I mean, there was still some surprising stuff, I'm sure. I still didn't see it yet.
Right.
I still want to.
Oh, come on. You can't talk about it if you haven't seen it. You got to watch the
No.
movie.
I still want. I've just been very busy.
Welcome to the Mad
My
Max
friends
show.
know me. I've been very busy for the last month with real life stuff, so I haven't been to the theater. But I am going to see it. But that my guess is that there's some surprising stuff in it, but not as like, wow, this is shocking like the first movie. Like when you
I
got
think it's incredibly shocking, and I'm going to reference.
Okay.
I'm going to reference. Skullman is now arguing with me in the comments.
Never a good idea to
saying that it's
reference
because that Joker 2 serves no purpose other than to lecture the very audience who liked the first one. Okay,
Please.
how? I would say, having seen Joker 2, I came out of that caring even more about Arthur than I cared about him in the first movie. It is a tragic love letter to Arthur. It is breaking the man down. This is what people talk about this movie. Like, did you watch the movie? Did we watch the same movie?
Well, look, we saw.
I think it's also okay. Why can't a filmmaker comment on their last film? Also, if that is the case, that doesn't mean the film is automatically bad. David Fincher literally did the same thing with The Killer, making probably a commentary on what people thought of Fight Club, the hypocrisy of people not seeing that. And I think that was filtered in through Killer. He's like making a commentary on that. That's been noted before, and people let that movie pass. Oh, Fincher's a genius when Fincher does it, right?
Do you think some of people's issues may be like, I'm still going to go see it. I just haven't got to see it yet. But from what I've heard from my pals, Perp, Joe, and other people have seen it, it may give a little bit more answers than the first one was more open-ended and vague as to your own interpretations. And also the expectations of a sequel. People had these expectations of what it was going to be.
Skullman, then you misunderstood The Killer. That's what you got from it.
First of all, I just want to say I think there's a 75% chance that Skullman never saw Joker 2, because we know based on the box office that not a lot of people saw it.
Well, and that's my point, right? Because everybody's arguing about Joker 2 without having seen Joker 2. I'm like, okay, what part of it made you feel that way? And then if you don't know, I'm not going to tell you.
That would have been the first movie I would have saw Joker 2.
You know what? I went in with very low expectations because I did not care for the first Joker movie.
Oh, really?
I thought that it was incredibly dire. And I really connected with Joker 2 because I found it to be even more human than the first one. And so when people are like, it's a big F you, I'm like, I didn't get that at all. I felt an emotional connection to it. Joe, did you like it? I don't remember.
I really liked it. I felt it was a natural, it was a very natural follow-up to the first film. Like, it felt like an organic, like, I liked the first one better after watching the second one. I feel they're a perfect companion piece to each other.
I can see that.
Do you think this is one like in the future people are going to like, that was secretly brilliant? Why did we all dislike it back then? It's going to grow an audience.
5 years. Yeah.
5 years.
You know what it's going to take, Max? People just need to actually watch the movie.
Well, I'm definitely going to eventually. I just me and my friend was visiting and we were going to go see it that week and it just didn't happen. And then it's out of theaters already, actually. Yeah.
Oh, is it? It's still at my theater,
or maybe it's on VOD or something. Is why.